आज इस वीडियो में हम आगा खान यूनिवर्सिटी एग्जामिनेशन बोर्ड क्लास 11 अप्रैल में 2017 फिजिक्स पेपर 1 सॉल्व करेंगे. सो लेट्स कम टू आवर क्वेश्चन नंबर 1. So here we have our question number 1. The total number of significant figures in this expression. So the expression is 0.001007. So these three starting zeros are not considered as significant figures. This one and this 7 are significant. That makes these two zero also significant. So overall we have four significant figures in this expression. So the correct answer for this question number 1 is option B. Then let's come to our question number 2. In this question, we have a number that has to be represented in the scientific notation. So, according to the definition of scientific notation, the decimal that is after 7 in this expression, this decimal should be placed after the first non-zero digit, that is 1. So let's move this decimal to the left side of this expression. So for moving left, we add plus 1 to the power of 10 for every digit move towards left. So this expression would become 1.6052017. So let's count the number of digits. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 10 raised to the power will become plus 7. So the correct answer we have got in our option D, that is the correct answer. Now let's come to our next question, that is question number 3. In this given figure, a force of 5 newtons is acting on an object A in eastward direction and a force of 6 Newton acting in the north direction. We have to find the resultant of that these two forces. So according to the head to tail rule, the resultant would be this arrow that from the tail of the first vector towards the head of the last vector. So this is our resultant vector and these two forces are perpendicular. So resultant would be equals to 5 square plus 6 square and positive square root. 5 square is 25 and 6 square is 36. This would be become equals to square root of 61. So the correct answer for this question number 3 will be option C. Then we have question number 4. If the dot product of two vectors which are not perpendicular to each other is equal to 0. So we know that if two vectors are perpendicular, then the dot product is 0. But in this case, two vectors are not perpendicular, but still their dot product is 0. This means that either this vector A is a null vector or this vector B could be the null vector, or these two both vectors could be null vector. So the correct answer would be option A for this question number 4, that one of these two vectors or both of the two vectors should be a null vector. For the dot product between them should be equals to 0. Then let's see our next question, question number 5 and 6. The product of force and the moment arm, and this product is known as cross product force into R, or we can also represent this as momentum R and force F. So R cross F, we know that it is equal to a quantity that is known as torque. So torque is a cross product of moment arm and force. So the correct answer is option B, torque. In the next question, a bomb is released from a jet plane as an example of which type of motion. So if we release something from the top, let's say if we release something from the top of the building, it follows a free fall motion and it comes to the ground in a linear motion. Because when releasing this ball, it has only vertical velocity or vertical force acting on that body that moves, that attracted toward the center of the earth. So let's say if this is a jet plane and it is moving in the forward direction, this is the direction of motion. If this ball is dropped from the moving jet plane, so one motion is similar to this type of motion, that is the free fall motion, and other one, that is the forward direction of this plane, that gives a forward horizontal velocity to that dropping object. This ball or this bomb will have a horizontal component of velocity as well as a free motion that makes this object to move in that curved path, and this curved path will be known as projectile trajectory. So projectile motion will be possessed by that bomb that is falling from a moving jet plane. So the correct answer for this question will be option D. Then we have question number 7. In a battlefield, to obtain the maximum range of a missile fired by the tank, the missile must be launched at what angle? So we know that range of a projectile is equals to initial velocity square over g into sine 2 theta. So for a particular value of initial velocity, the range would be maximum if the sine 2 theta is equal to 1. If the sine 2 theta is equal to 1, this means that sine theta for is 1 or maximum when the theta is equal to 90 degree. So this all should be equals to 90 degree. This means 2 theta should be equals to 90 and theta would become 45 degree. So the correct answer is option C, 45 degrees. Then we have question number 8. And which of the following is one of the source of non-conventional source of energy? So the correct answer for this question is the option B, biomass. This coal is the conventional source of energy. This petroleum and this hydro power is the all are non-conventional conventional source of energy that is reduced or replenished in the short period of time and cannot be used in very short period of time. So the correct answer for this question number 8 is option B. Then we have question number 9. The energy possessed by a body due to its position is known as the potential energy. So, potential energy or the gravitational potential energy is a type of energy that is possessed by a body due to its particular position. So, the correct answer for question number 9 is option B. Then let's see question number 10. Question number 10. Which all the following is true about the work that is the that with reference to the physics? So work is a form of energy. Work is a vector quantity, that is false because work is a scalar quantity. It has the SI unit of watt, that is incorrect because the SI unit of work is joules. It has the formula force multiplied by time. So this is incorrect because it is equals to force into displacement. So the correct answer for this question number 10 would be option A, that it is a form of energy, or the work and energy have almost same meaning in physics. Let's see question number 11. Which of the following statements is true about the kinetic energy? An object in motion possesses kinetic energy. This looks the correct about the kinetic energy. An object placed on the ground possesses kinetic energy, so this is not absolutely correct because for a body to have kinetic energy, it must have a certain velocity. Either it is on the ground or moving in the air. A light object has more kinetic energy than a heavy object at the same velocity. So this is incorrect because kinetic energy is equal to mv square over 2. So heavier the mass of the body, greater will be its kinetic energy. So option C is incorrect about kinetic energy. Then we have option D. A slow moving object has more kinetic energy than a fast moving object of the same mass. So, as we can see, kinetic energy is directly proportional to the square of the velocity. This means that if body moving with the large velocity should have the large magnitude of kinetic energy. So, the correct answer for question number 11 should be option A. Let's come to this question number 12. The angular velocity of the clutch plate of a sports car is 12.5 10 raised to the power minus 5 radians per second, that is the omega, and the moment of inertia is 80.04 10 raised to the power 15 kilogram meter square. Then the rotational kinetic energy of the plate will be. So the formula for the rotational kinetic energy is equal to I omega square divided by 2. So here we have I, we have omega. So let's substitute these values. So here we have substituted the values of moment of inertia, omega square, and by dividing with 2, we have got our answer, that is 6.253 exponent 8 joules. So the correct answer for this question will be option D, that is 6.25 10 raised to the power 8. Then we have question number 13. The mathematical relation between the linear and angular velocity of an object is represented by which formula? So as we have seen that the linear velocity is represented by v and the angular velocity is represented by omega. So the relation between them is v equals r omega. That is the correct answer in our option D. Let's come to our question number 14. If an artificial satellite is orbiting around the Earth at a height of 6614 kilometers above the Earth's surface, then we have to find the orbital velocity of that satellite, and we have some constant values, that is the mass of Earth and the value of universal gravitational constant and the radius of Earth, that is 6400 kilometers. So orbital velocity VO is equals to square root of the m over r, and this r is the radius of Earth plus the height above the Earth's surface. So the value of G we have is 6.673, 10 raised to the power minus 11, and the mass of Earth, that is constant, 6 exponent 24, divided by r, that is the radius of Earth, 6400 kilometers, plus the height above the Earth's surface, 6614 kilometers. So we have kept this distance in kilometers because we have all the options in kilometers per second. So let's solve this expression, and after solving this expression, we will get the correct answer as 1.75, 10 raised to the power 5 kilometers per second. So the correct answer we have is in our option A. Then we have question number 15. In which of the following section of the given pipe will the water flow with the highest speed and the lowest pressure? So we know that the speed is highest where area is small. According to equation of continuity, A1 V1 equals A2 V2. The smaller the area, greater will be the speed in that section, while the pressure and the velocity of the fluid are inversely proportional to each other. It means the greater speed will have the low pressure of the fluid in that section of the pipe. So highest speed among this pipe will be at this region B, that is in option B. And the greatest speed simultaneously will have the lowest pressure in the whole pipe. So the correct answer for this question number 15 is option B. Let's come to our question number 16. Which of the following options shows the correct sequence of fluids in increasing order of viscosity? So let's see these options in which the last one should have the minimum viscosity, while the upper one should have the maximum viscosity. So in this option we have a toothpaste with a minimum viscosity, while the water lies above the paint and toothpaste. This option is incorrect. Then we have the minimum viscosity of honey in option C, while the maximum viscosity of water. So this is the incorrect one, because among these four liquids, water seems to be less viscous, while toothpaste and honey paint seems to be more viscous than water. So these two options might look appropriate according to the given question. Water is the least viscous. Then we have honey, toothpaste, and paint. So, as we can see, the paint can flow more easily as compared to honey. This means that paint should not be the most viscous among these four liquids. So toothpaste is most viscous, while honey, then paint, and then water. So, according to the sequence, option A should be the correct answer in this question number 16. Let's see question number 17. In the given mass spring system, the potential energy of the block is zero at which position? So we know that the potential energy is zero when the block or the vibrating body is at mean or equilibrium position. So we have to identify the equilibrium position in this diagram. So in the first diagram, we have a force that is acting towards left, while and the spring is stretched, while in the third diagram we have a force acting towards right and the spring is compressed. So this force is always towards the mean position. This arrow shows that this is not the mean position. Mean position is towards right of this block. In this case we have a mean position towards right of the block. Similarly in the diagram 2, there is no force, external resistive force acting on that mass. This shows that this could be the mean position. So the correct answer is option B in this question number 12. Now let's come to our next question, that should be our question number 18. When our body executes free vibrations, free vibrations are those that are caused without any external influence or by the application of external force, then these the frequency of these free vibration is equal to the natural frequency of that body. That is the definition of our natural frequency, that our vibrating body possess free vibration when there is no external factors or no external force acting on that vibrating body. So option B is the correct answer. Then we have question 19, which phenomena occurs when the frequency of free oscillation matches the frequency of the forced oscillation. Every body has a frequency that is known as natural frequency, and when we force that body and our force that produce vibration is known as forced frequency. So if our force frequency matches, or our force vibration matches with the natural vibration of that vibrating body, that increases the amplitude of that vibrating body. This phenomena is known as resonance, and the correct option we have is in option B. Next question we have is question number 20. In this question, we have a graph of amplitude and frequency of a vibrating body, and the vibrating body in this graph is a forced oscillation of a pendulum in air. What will the response of this forced oscillation in the vacuum? So we know that in air we have a air resistance that will oppose the motion of our swinging pendulum. So this, if the same experiment or if the same process is done in vacuum when there is no air, so there will be no air resistance or no friction. So friction reduces the amplitude of the vibrating body. So if this pendulum is allowed to oscillate in vacuum, so the amplitude of that vibrating body should be greater. So the correct answer we have is in option B, where it has the maximum amplitude among these four options. So the correct answer is our option B. Then we have question number 21, and the apparent change in the frequency of sound due to relative motion between the source and the observer. What is this phenomena known as? So this phenomena in which there is a change in the frequency and there is a change in the wavelength of the sound wave when there is a relative motion between the source of the sound and the listener of the sound. This phenomena is known as Doppler's effect. So correct option is option B. Let's see question number 22, the place where the compression of the waves combined with the rarefaction of another wave. So there is a superposition of waves in which compression meets with the rarefaction of two waves. So they will cancel out each other's effect. So this point will be known as which point? So the option represent that questions is with reference to a standing wave, and if two standing waves intersect with each other or superimposed with each other, And this is the point where compressions and rarefactions meet up to cancel out each other's effect. So these points are known as nodes. These are the nodes, while these portion of the waves are known as anti-nodes. At nodes, the amplitude of the vibration of particles is zero, while at antinodes, the molecules of the medium vibrates with the maximum amplitude. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Next, we have question number 23 and 24. The narrow slits of our diffraction grating are 5 exponent minus 4 meter apart. That this is the value of D. If a light ray of 5 exponent minus 7 wavelength, so this is our lambda, passes through the narrow slits, then we have to find the value of angle observed at the third order of bright spot. So the let's apply the formula of Bragg's law, or the Bragg's equation, that is stated as 2d sine theta is equal to n lambda. So for the value of theta, it will be equals to sine inverse of n lambda divided by 2 times d. So the value of n is 3 into 3 into wavelength, that is 5 exponent minus 7, divided by 2 times the diffraction grating, 5 exponent minus 4. So after solving this, the sine inverse of this whole fraction, we will get 0.085 degrees. That is the value of theta. So the correct answer is option A. Next, we have question number 24. All of the following are the necessary conditions for the interference of light except for the one. So light waves should be coherent, it should be monochromated, and the light waves must have the constant phase difference along the whole path of the propagation of light. So these are the conditions that matches the conditions for the interference of light. So size of the obstacle must be similar to the light waves. So this is not true for the interference of light. This condition is relatable to the diffraction of light. This is not the condition for interference. So in question 24, we have a correct answer, that is option D. Let's see question number 25 and 6. Which of the following phenomena reveals that the light are transverse wave? So the phenomena that is only possessed by the transverse wave is this one: polarization, the process of diffraction, the process of interference. These are the processes that are possessed by all type of waves. So the polarization is the phenomena in that reveals that the light waves are transverse in nature. They have two components that are perpendicular, that is electrical component as well as magnetic field component. So the correct answer for question number 25 is option B, 2 only. Then we have question number 26. Which of the following relation describes the Boyle's law? We know that in Boyle's law that relates the pressure and volume, and this states that the pressure is inversely proportional to the volume at constant temperature of the given mass of a gas. So pressure is inversely proportional to the volume, and the product of PV remains constant for any given mass of the gas. So the correct answer for this question number 26 is option A. Let's see question number 27. If the volume of a thermodynamic system or the thermodynamic gas increases, then the work done by the system will be zero, positive, negative, or infinite. So, as the question says that the volume is increased, which means delta V is increased or delta V is positive. So, for the expansion or the expansion process, volume increases means the system has expanded, and the system expands when the work is done by the system, and this type of work done that is done by the system is termed as positive work done. So the correct answer for this question number 27 is option C, that this type of work done is termed as positive work done. If the gas is compressed, then work is done on the gas, and this type of work is considered as negative work. Let's see question number 28. In a thermodynamic system, if there is no change in temperature, its mean temperature is constant. If there is no change in temperature and there is no change in internal energy, so in temperature and internal energy are related. So if there is no change in temperature, there will be no change in the internal energy of the system, which means that the total amount of heat absorbed by the system will be utilized in doing work. Then this process is known as isothermal process. Iso means constant and thermal is the temperature. So isothermal process in the thermodynamic is the one in which there is no change in temperature of the system and its internal energy remains constant. So option D we have is our correct answer. Let's see our next question, that are question number 29 and 30. In an irreversible process of thermodynamics, irreversible means the system will not come to its initial state. Their values for the pressure, volume, and temperature will not remain same. So, which of the following option is correct about the irreversible process? There is no change in temperature. This is incorrect because these parameters will be changed in thermodynamics irreversible process. There is an increase in pressure, so pressure will remain constant. A decrease in volume, so this is not true because the volume must comes to the initial volume of the working substance. So in an irreversible process, there is a loss of heat. The loss of heat makes the process that do not comes to its initial state or initial values of pressure, volume, and temperature. For a reversible process, there is no loss of heat, and the system is able to comes to its original state, that is the pressure, volume, and temperature. So the correct answer in this question 29 is option A. Next, we have the last question of this year 2017. The efficiency of the Carnot cycle depends upon the change in what? So, we know that the efficiency of a Carnot engine is 1 minus T2 over T1 times 100. So the efficiency only depends on these two temperatures, that are the temperatures of the hot reservoir and the cold reservoir. So the correct answer for the last question, that is question 30, is option D.